I guess my journey with social activism started when I was born because, you know, I'm Afro-Latina, and I'm Muslim, and, you know, you're kind of spending your whole existence advocating for yourself and for the people in your community. But I would say that it took a more serious and productive turn following the unfortunate murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I had just moved back to New Jersey, and my friends had texted me, and they were like, Samantha, we have to do something. George Floyd was murdered, and everyone's protesting. And I was like, okay, then, like, protest. And they were like, okay, but how do we do it? And I was like, I don't know. And so I just, I contacted my local NAACP, and within a week, I arranged a protest. And that protest was in Perth Amboy, and it had over 1,000 participants. And it was widely successful. But everyone kept telling me, okay, Samantha, so you got the gas in the car, where are you going? And I was like, what do you mean, where am I going? And they were like, you don't just protest and call it a day. You have to figure out what it is that you're trying to do. What do you want to do with this traction that you gained? And so, of course, I went to my mayor, and I was like, I have 17 demands. And she was like, 17? And I was like, yeah. And luckily enough, I got into correspondence with the Citizen Service, and the first thing they told me was do the doable. That's it. And obviously, you could spend your whole life trying for those 17 demands and only reach 5 of them. And so I decided to focus on de-escalation training and public safety within my hometown, because I felt that that was what was lacking when it came to George Floyd's death, when it came to Breonna Taylor's death. There was no instance of de-escalation. There was no instance of hesitation. Mm-hmm. And so after that, I started attending city council meetings, and that's where I advocated for the adoption of an ordinance, which would encourage a guardian culture with our police department as opposed to a warrior culture, where we encourage a sense of community as opposed to a sense of us versus them. Mm. And when I went to these meetings, I made sure I came with evidence, because it's very easy to point fingers and to place blame, but when you come from a place of, okay, we all know what the problem is, but I want to talk about the solution, it's pretty easy to get heard. It's pretty easy for people to give you undivided attention. And so one of the pieces of evidence I proposed was the national average for force training is 8 hours, as compared to the de-escalation training, which is only 1 hour. So that's an 8-to-1 ratio, and I didn't feel like that was correct. I didn't feel like that was safe, especially in my community where we're predominantly a black and brown community. It just didn't feel like a safe environment for any of us. And so I would say after about 1.5 years, maybe 2, my ordinance was adopted. And this ordinance called for a promotion policy that was linked to increased de-escalation training, and an annual audit on the use of force that was going to be monitored by a Citizens Public Safety Advisory Board. And that was a great achievement. I was very proud. Thank you. And so the board is alive and well, and thankfully and gratefully, I was elected by my board members as chair of that board. And so, yeah, it was definitely a shift from, I don't want to say I lost passion. I definitely think I gained perspective. I definitely gained an understanding that emotions are great, and you know, they drive us to incredible places, and they're the first things that bring us to the doorstep of change, right? But it comes to a point where you can get blinded by your own emotions, by your own ambitions. And thankfully, with the Citizen Service, I was able to use evidence. I was able to use the no-blame approach to get sustainable change, and I hope to keep using those tools in the future. Thank you.